This is my review on Playboys Miami episode 9. I commend Landon for actually going out in the field with Man Man though, but he was never going to stand a chance, Man Man. Man Man was taking him somewhere he didn't want to go. But I live for Man Man's confessionals as well though when he's reading people down. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. But I also am upset though that they don't show Man Man a lot of times as well during the show as well. Like we get more of his personality through the TikTok lives than we do on the show because they keep cutting his scenes. And I'm so glad that Pootie and Landon got that fight out of the way because tension was too high as well. And it's just like a lot of this, a lot of lip boxing, and not a lot of wow, not a lot of fighting. Pootie won that, Landon lost, and I feel like that's why Landon was more upset. That's why I was upset after the fight. Another thing as well, if Landon had just kept his head up, he would have maybe had a better chance of winning the fight as well. But he was going in with his head down, and that didn't help him. This also just highlights as well that Man Man is a ride or die because the way he tackled that security guard, yeah, yeah. Then it also shows as well that Landon's a sore loser as well because you started all this altercation and arguments with Pudi. Now you lost, you're getting upset. And it's like if you were a tactical fighter rather than fighting off emotion, you may have had a better chance of winning the fight. But you chose to be like in your emotions, in your feelings, like a mess. Ken as well, I'm getting so tired of Ken, if I'm honest, like especially at this stage, because he's always in everyone else's drama, but never in the field. A lot of this behind the scenes, a lot of, chatting and whatever else and stuff, but never in the field. Always caught up in mess. Like, what's going on? Like, what the fuck is going on? You see why I was saying that about Ken? Because look what just happened. Ken just got now tossed around like a Caesar salad by Pootie, and he was grabbing his hair, twisting him around like a merry-go-round. Like, it was just a lot going on. And this is what I mean, mind your business, because they've even highlighted Landon and Pootie that they're both talking about each other to you, and you decide to be sneaking people's business here, and they're like, oh, this person said that, this person said that. You should have just shh. Because this is why they even fighting, because you were telling other people's business, because Landon exposed you and said, oh yeah, you were the one that told the business. Cool. This is just another thing as well when people go on, I don't know why my lips look so dry, but this is another thing when people go on these shows as well. They need to stop being other people's therapists and actually be there for yourself. Yes, you can be a therapist or friends with someone, whatever, but look at the, what's the word? Look at the aftermath of doing all that. You're now getting beaten up, and the person that was even lip boxing to you is not even back in your case. Obviously, now when Ken gets back in the field now with Pootie after trying to get his leg back, Ken obviously won that fight as well. And I feel like Ken is giving silent assassin as well, the way he's acting. Like, he's quiet, minds his business, whatever. Obviously, a bit messy too from what we're seeing. But then he's getting in the field. But I feel like intentionally security broke up that fight too soon as well because obviously I feel like they know which fights to keep going and which fights to stop. And Pudi was 100% losing that fight. And then also with JR now. So JR saying, oh, I'm not messy, but. And then you're spilling someone else's tea. You're giving messy. You're giving messy. Don't know what you're trying to fool other people for. Then he's talking about his relationship with someone. Obviously, it's implied that it's maybe a guy that he's, dating or was dating at that point as well. Because he's talking about him and Anne and so forth. Because they had mutuals or they knew someone was dating one or the other. Then, from what I'm getting from these episodes as well, it seems like JR's more relaxed each episode that we see. Obviously, because he's maybe with his community. Obviously, he hasn't come out yet and whatever, but it's just giving you a part of the community. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm also glad that Landon and Pootie made up because I was so tired of this thing dragging. It's now 9 episodes in and they were doing a lot of this. And I get it as well if you're fucking someone, you're doing this other stuff. A lot of emotions are high, but let's wrap it up. So I'm glad it is wrapped up now. Do you get what I'm saying? If I'm going to talk about, obviously now they've gone to the boxing ring now and they're doing the UFC. If I'm going to give the fight to anyone, I'm going to give it to JR. JR had more hits that were connecting as well, though. Yes, Ant did get that one lucky hit and made his nose bleed or his mouth bleed, whatever it was as well. But at the same time, no one left there a winner. From that fight alone, no one left there a winner, sorry. Yeah. A quick side note as well, though. I know there's allegations of Ant balding as well. I don't know why no one on the team or just in general will actually just tell man to put some sacred drops in his hair because they're saying he's balding. That's why he always has like the not bonnet, sorry, a do rag on, and he's always covering his hair and stuff. Why doesn't anyone just give him the sacred drops or tell him to get some with his paycheck? I don't understand. And then JR was saying, "Oh, I'm so tired, whatever." But just 2 seconds ago, he was saying Ant's fat and all this other stuff, trying to fat shame him. But he has more stamina than you in the ring because Ant was ready to keep going and going and going. And you have to give props when props are due. Ant is getting better at fighting, regardless of what people say about Ant and people, oh, he can't fight, whatever. Yes, he may not be the best fighter though, but he actually is getting better with his fighting skills. Like we can tell, but obviously he was trying. I think the reason why Ant was kind of losing that fight as well is because he was more like swinging JR about and like trying to get him on the floor rather than actually trying to get some like punches in when he should have been doing a 2-for-1 combo. Yes, you're trying to get him on the ground, but maybe just uppercut him or something. From my understanding, Shaba lied from what Ant said and said that Shaba basically was saying to other people that, oh, he's homeless, whatever. There was no evidence that's come forward about the homelessness, and I feel like this is why I'm kind of side-eyeing Shaba, because a lot of times when these people on Now That's TV end up homeless, there's always evidence of that as well, or there's like someone, you know, actually fact-checking this as well. But it's a bit weird though that Shaba turned against him anyway, but we move. So from what I got from the Qatari and Landon beef is that Landon's upset that Gigi moved on and was talking to Qatari, and then obviously I feel like Gigi must have exposed messages showing that maybe when he got back with Landon that him and Qatari were talking. But what is your concern, Landon, to even fight this man over someone that was potentially talking to your ex? That doesn't make any sense. You're no longer with the person, and I feel like this is what I mean with some people are just mad in here, because you're fighting someone over someone talking to them. They didn't even have any type of relationship with them or anything, and also that person is not your man anymore, and you don't own them. They're not your property. So I don't understand what the beef is for. It's giving weird. And he's talking about, oh, I still fight for my niggas. But did Gigi tell you to fight for him? You just want to fight for him just for the sake of it at this point. It's not making any sense. I have to give it to Landon though. He did win against Qatari as well. Qatari seemed like he was just really eating the punches. It didn't seem like he was throwing them, but he wasn't throwing them enough to connect and also make an impact. Where Landon was also tossing him around and stuff. He was like, he's more like a wildfire, if that makes sense, because he's like goes everywhere really quick. So from my understanding, Isaiah was with Qatari, and this is why it's getting messy because Landon keeps making comments. But this is what I mean with these type of shows and whatever. Like with Now That's TV and Zeus, the way the cast and production mixed together is just messy. Like, why are you sleeping with your cast members before they're even on the show? Or like, you know what I mean? Or is it a form of nepotism, could I say? Or maybe sleeping your way to the top in a sense of like, you're sleeping with someone, now you're not sleeping with them, now they end up on the show. Okay. Cool. Very weird behavior, by the way. Also the second round between Qatari and Landon was nearly a tie, but Landon came out of that headlock or whatever it was that Qatari got him in and started punching him, and he won. And then obviously the third round as well, Landon won. I feel like Qatari nearly had an upper hand, but it's like every single time he's kind of losing as well. And I feel like his shoulder came out of place at some point as well. And them doing 4 rounds, I'm thinking, why are you doing 4 rounds for? You never did 4 rounds with anyone else this whole time that you guys have been in the UFC ring. Obviously, Junior backed out of the 5 and so understandable, cool. But like 4 rounds is excessive. And obviously, sorry, when I was saying about this shoulder came out of place, that was in the 4th round, sorry, and you could tell as well because obviously previously he mentioned about his shoulder come out of place when he was fighting. I think it was Zayda or someone else, I don't know, from his house. Also glad that Landon and Qatari entered their beef as well, because the Landon was saying a whole bunch of nothing. Oh, I heard that you said this, but you can't even repeat what was said. It's given you're making it up for a storyline. And the thing is, why would you even do that as well? Because you already have other storylines going on. You just wanted to fight for the sake of it, just to show, I'm going to show you the Florida this, the Florida that. What was the point of fighting him? And you couldn't even, and you're saying, oh, we have mutual friends, but why couldn't you tell us what was said? It's not a secret because obviously we know a lot of people's business on the show already. But then Landon getting upset that Qatari was texting Pootie. What is that of your concern? Like every single time there's always something else going on. It's just like, I'm just getting tired of this back and forth. Like, oh, this person texting that person, this person doing that. It's none of your business though, is it? So what are we going on about? And also you don't own these people either. And also the irony as well of you getting upset with someone else when you were always talking to different men each and every time. Like, what's going on? Like, if we're going to keep it $150, half the cast sleep with each other. So what are we going? Like, where are we going with this? You know what I mean? I haven't seen D Scott get much camera time recently. Maybe it's just how the episode's going. But like he just reminds me of Summer. But he's like the Now That's TV version because he runs his mouth there, but he still gets in the field to do what he needs to do. And that first round with D Scott and Pootie, I would have to say it's a tie because Pootie at the beginning got him. Then at the very end, D Scott kind of got one over on Pootie as well. And I feel like D Scott's kind of like an angry fighter, the way he was just like rushing and charging at him compared to Pootie. It was like he was going back and then swinging as well and trying to be more tactical with it. And based on round 2 as well, I'd have to give it to Pootie as well, just based off the amount of hits that were connecting. That's the only thing I can really base it off. I would have to give so now we're on to Tay and Kashi's fight. So Tay and Kashi, I would have to say that Kashi won both the rounds. Tay was getting in there though, and he did hit him a few times and stuff, but I feel like Kashi overall the majority of time was winning the fight. And obviously that's why Tay kind of like tapped out in the end, because it's like he didn't have the stamina. I get it as well. If you're not used to doing this type of fighting continuously, maybe street fighting, yeah, but not UFC fighting, it can be different as well in regards to preparing yourself for that. I do love how Kashi is actually giving props to Tay as well, saying that, you know, that he's kind of like giving him a run for his money, because usually when Kashi is fighting people, he normally wins the fights just like that, and it's not like he's ever left like, you know, or gagged or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? And obviously we see part 1 of Rich Say and Sheik, and obviously Rich Say got that. I feel like Sheik was running him blindly there as well and kicking him and stuff like that, and I feel like he wasn't strategic at all. And I get it as well, maybe if you haven't ever fought a day in your life and stuff, that you're just going to try anything just to kind of get one over on someone. But I give Sheik props for actually getting in the ring as well.